Hello everyone and welcome back to the Summit 2 by G2A.com. We're here in the SCA division with plenty of fantastic action coming your way. I'm Gods from Beyond the Summit, back in the studio, back in our wonderful home here in LA, and good to be back. We've been casting some great matches tonight. We've seen Team Malaysia dominate the SCA division. They're 8-0 right now. We've also got Myth Trust, who are doing pretty well. They're 4-0. We saw them earlier today, and CSW, I think the other team that's red hot, they're 5-1 with their only loss to Team Malaysia. So as far as CSW concerned, looking good to make it to the top 4. Myth Trust and Malaysia on the hot track as well. But they're going to go actually head-to-head later on tonight. But right now, we've got some good old-fashioned Korean Dota. We have got Team Zephyr versus MVP Phoenix. A grudge match of sorts, I guess you could say. Zephyr have definitely fallen off from being the top dogs in the Korean Dota scene, and MVP Phoenix have taken that title. But here we are, Zephyr Dota. They've had some roster reshuffles time and time again, actually. First, Merlini was playing with them. Now they've got Slicks, former Team Immunity player, joining them as a kind of reoccurring stand-in and kind of fill-in player, at least without any official announcement of him joining the team. But pretty clear that he's been playing with them for some time now, that he is a kind of at least a regular stand-in that they are maybe trialing out, or at least having played with them maybe for the next Korean Dota League season. So we'll get ourselves into the draft and see how things are going down. MVP Phoenix, not as dominant as I would say they were around like the TI4 time. Like during then, they were looking like a real threat. They almost made it into the main event, and they had a really good run in those SCA qualifiers. Since then, though, I think they've fallen off a bit. They're not doing as well against the SCA teams. They've also not done as well against some of the other Korean teams. Rave beat them in a best-of-5 to qualify for the MSI Beat It LAN finals in Taiwan, and just not being really as dominant, I would say, all in all. They've had some kind of role swapping around, or at least seem to be testing around depending on the draft. Sometimes much more focused on playing support as of late, and sometimes depending on the draft we'll see different things and different players on different roles, but definitely a team that seems to have kind of lost its mojo in some ways, but they're looking to find it back, and Zephyr is a good way to start doing it. Team Zephyr, the punching bag of the SCA division for the Summit 2 by G2A.com. They are 1-5. Their only win was the default win against Arrow Gaming, who were disqualified, so yet to pick up their first real win here in the Summit, and definitely looking to do so. At some point, even if you're not going to be making to the top 4, you're looking for some real practice and some actually to get your team into some good form. So that's kind of where Zephyr are at right now. They're not knocked out just yet. They can still end up like 5-5 with their... oh no, they can end up 6-5 with the one default win included in that, and maybe be in for the top 4 in a tiebreak scenario, but it's going to be tough. So it's unlikely. At this point, their goal isn't to finish in the top 4. It's just take it one game at a time, win as many as we can, and then see where we can get. So well, we'll see what the situation's going to be, as MVP Phoenix have drafted themselves an Uga McGee, Slark, and Razor. As for the Zephyr side, we've got a Death Prophet Tide, so the Death Prophet opening still remaining strong for a lot of these teams, and still a very potent hero in the well, mid to late game stages. It's kind of like it's an unusual hero because it more or less is a carry with the damage output you get in that ulti form, but it's a carry that's only online like 25 to even less of the time. Like 25% of the time is probably an exaggeration now with the new long cooldown on your exorcism. So that's the main problem. You have to fight around that Death Prophet ultimate, and there, picking another hero you've got to fight around his ultimate, the Tidehunter. So we saw this hero kind of rise to prominence during Star Ladder, and I mean, late game you're always fighting around the Ravagers. Earlier on, if you get some good farm on this fella, you can just be a big tanky frontliner even when you don't have Ravage. So we'll see how things go for the Zephyr draft, as they do get that Ancient Apparition 3rd pick as well. MVP Phoenix have got 2 of their core heroes in the Razor Slack. They definitely need to kind of add some teamfight of their own. Both those heroes kind of single target. Razor fairly tanky, Slack kind of fairly annoying and mobile and just pesky in a fight, but they need that kind of Tidehunter-like hero of their own, it feels like, to round things off. They get the Rubik support, so Probably to go with the Ogre Magi as their 2 supports, although could see an Ogre Magi in the offlane as some teams have done, but I feel MVP Phoenix really want that, maybe like Centaur or something to really initiate a fight. Like, who's actually their main initiator right now? They haven't really got anything. Maybe Slark with a Blink Dagger, but even that is not really the most reliable lockdown. The hero who you go on doesn't actually get stunned and properly disabled. That's where a Centaur's good. A Clockwork's okay. We saw one last game come into play from Mythtrust, and while the laning, it didn't look like the best Clockwork game, he did kind of deliver some hook shots later on in the game despite of kind of bad early game starts. So we'll see what the plan's going to be for MVP's last pick, if it will be that kind of good tanky initiator, or if they put someone like the Ogre Magi in that kind of position to some extent. He gets tanky enough that maybe his just raw survivability combined with his damage output from multicast will be enough. Zephyr, though, I think they need some actually like more consistent fighters. They can't pick another. They can't just fight around heroes who have these long cooldown ultimates. They need like a more reliable fighter. Something even like a Clinks I think would be okay here for Corey in the safe lane farming role. Weaver not bad, but they also need a secondary support to join the Ectoprisha. I think the Weaver AA really good synergy there and some great damage output. Have to worry a bit about the burst damage of an Ogre if you're a Weaver though. Combine that with the telekinesis, and also you kind of play into the fact that Rubik loves to steal Shikuchi. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the best bet. And they go Urshik. That's a kind of another hero we talk about. Heroes that have popped up recently and kind of rose to some popularity. This hero, Team Secret, Notel plays some beastly Urshik games, and it is not. I don't think this hero is not really built around his ultimate as a thing. So I don't look at this as like, oh, they've got another hero to play around his ultimate, but he doesn't. Like, you definitely have to fight her. Like, your Fisher's got a decent-ish cooldown as far as like non-ultimate spells goes. It's not exactly like a spammable stun. And also this, I think Earthshaker is kind of a bit of a kind of very defensive hero that just sits back and protects teammates in a sense. So Zephyr at this time can't really get too aggressive, and that's where MVP Phoenix say, look, they're playing defensive. They've got this all like protect each other kind of lineup with the Ravage, the Fissure, and all that. Let's ban out that kind of hard carries in those 4 protect 1 strats. So they ban the Spectre, ban out the hard carry that he is, and I think that's a really smart ban here. MVP Phoenix don't have the best lineup for punishing that. They could try and go like offensive trailing with Rubik, Razor, Ogre, but it's a bit risky, and you're against an Ancient Apparition with Chilling Touch, a Fissure that can block you off, and Zephyr I think could fight that even though Spectre wouldn't farm that well. Spectre's one of those heroes who can kind of come back in the form of getting kills, especially once you hit level 6 and stuff. And MVP, their Prophet banned out, something which they've run a lot of on 4Ev mostly. Instead go for the Legion. So it's kind of that tanky initiator. Like I talked about Clockwork as a hero, and Legion's kind of similar. You blink in, like use your ultimate to lock down one hero and get things started. It's feels a similar niche to like even a Batrider, I guess, which was banned out in the previous stage. So I think it's a decent pick overall for this lineup, and something that's kind of they're missing is that kind of lockdown slash initiator. Legion, a good BKB purchaser. And you keep that Death Prophet in place. That's where you can't use that Yule Scepter. You maybe, even if you get your BKB off, this is the physical damage from Razor, from Slark, whatever Legion Commander manages to accumulate using the Jewel. So I think Legion works out well here. Instead of the Spectre, we see a Corey Naga Siren. So we're going to see full Rat Dodo coming out of Zephyr here as far as the Naga Siren's concerned. And they've got annoying push to deal with between the Naga Siren and the Death Prophet, but they've got to get these heroes online. Death Prophet does need quite a lot of farm. Same story with the Naga Siren, and that's why you often see teams, and you look at EG especially when they were picking Death Prophet all the time, running it mid for Arteezy, they were running like safe lane farmers that were not your conventional safe lane farmers for Fear. Sometimes it'd be on your Weavers or whatever, but he'd be playing like Tide Hunters farming, he'd farm a Shadow Shaman. They ran the Death Prophet like the one position hero that they prioritized the most farm on. And that's not the case when you have a Naga Siren. You've got to get that Naga Siren up to the Radiance, and you've got to play around that. So this is going to be a bit of a trickier game for Slicks. He's not going to get as much protection. Not to mention, he's not going to have as much farm just sent his way. He's not going to be able to just go solo split push as much. He may have to kind of group up with his team and help protect the Naga Siren, or at least create space for Naga Siren, which make things a bit more difficult for him in general. This may change how he itemizes. I mean, Yule's is still fantastic, but maybe he goes for something like the early drums or whatever. But well, some good old friendly old chat. These teams know each other very well, and we're getting some pre-match bets going on. Let's check what's going down. Kyo wants food. Blitz is trying to pull out some 3-2-2s. He's like, dude, You feed greater than 5 deaths, I'll give you some. I'll trade you some food of my own. It's like you feed me, I feed you. Just different variants of food. I would not trust Blitz's cooking. Like this here, I will make you. I don't know what this dish is, but the idea of Blitz cooking definitely. Oh, that's a worry. I've seen this guy look after himself. I've never seen him cook. I'll tell you that. I would not trust Blitz to cook me a meal. So I don't know about this deal. I think Kyo, you're being scammed here. Let's draw the Roshan out of the pit. I'm not sure. Huh? Okay. I guess he was thinking maybe like if they come down here and try and contest the rune, you have Roshan on your side. Like you're a ranged hero. Roshan's not beating you, but as a melee hero, maybe you're in trouble. I don't know. Let's introduce some teams and players. We've got Kyo on the Slack, no longer playing the mid lane, at least not this game. We've got March playing the support Ogre. We've got Raisin on the Rubik. We've got in the middle lane, we've got Heen on the Razor as the solo mid. And then on the off lane, it's going to be Forev on the Legion Commander. Boots first for him. As for the Dire side, we're going to see Corey on the safe lane farming Naga. Siren for Team Zephyr. Aosin on the support Ancient Apparition. Blitz moving over to support, which puts Slicks in the mid lane. Death Prophet, and finally off lane, it's going to be 1973 as stand-in. Playing the Tidehunter. He's not going to have too much fun. Going for Boots first, which I think is alright, but once Kyo gets some boots of his own, Tide can get zoned out pretty hard, especially with this level 1 Essence shift, although by the time he gets boots, it'll be level 2, level 3, and Tide will have other things to worry about, like the Pounce coming in as well, to potentially punish him and drive him out of this lane. And with this big creep lane that's being accumulated, Tide really can kind of be zoned out of this lane. The two supports, that's kind of when you run a trial lane, you've got to zone out the enemy off lane. You don't want to be giving him too much experience or farm. He's already level 2 on the Tide, and that's, I mean, that's okay. Like, level 1, you can't zone him out too much. He also goes for the boot. Awkward. I was just about to say, like, I thought he was, like, taunting the Ogre. Much is like, dude, what's your deal? What's going on here? And, just a little friendly Ogre on Tide action battle. I don't know. They're just best buddies. He has internet issues, apparently. Ogre's got his little... I feel like this weapon of Ogre's is not too intimidating. Well, not intimidating. It looks like the flame stick that people run around in with in the Olympics opening ceremony. Whatever it's called. I don't know. But he's whacking Tide with it, whatever he is. Fire not too effective against water beings. March is like, dude, you're doing some next level plays while disconnected. It's funny, he did stop the pull through, man. Like he's standing there. You're not pulling these mud golems. He's in the way. He paused himself. Okay. Who knows? I think March. Oh, it was yeah. He DC'd, so it auto pauses when a player DCs. I was about to say. I didn't say actually who paused, but yeah. What a interesting start to this game. Blitz is so considerate. Like, asking if he could all chat, I don't mind. Dude. Kyo didn't say hi to me. He said hi to everyone in lobby except me, so I'm upset with that. Look at this. He said hi to everyone on Zephyr and did not... I used to play Dota with that guy, and... I don't know. But yeah, we'll hopefully have this pause ending fairly soon. I don't know what's going on here with the Tidehunter player of Team Zephyr. There's we look at things, how things. Both teams running tri-lane, so this is like your old school Dota. We're past the tri-lane era, I thought, but both teams wanting to guarantee farm for their safe lane farmers, and with the Naga Siren, definitely something you want to do. With the Slug, yeah, less so. What is Dak Doritang? Reason wants in on that apparently. I don't know. Mid lane, pretty even matchup, and Slick's ahead on couple CS. Death Prophet does fine against Razor. You're not worried about the static link. Even if he takes some damage, you just use the Crypt Swarm to get a few last hits during the duration of static link. So Perfectly fine matchup for Slicks to have against him. And, yeah. Alright. I don't know. Hopefully this pause doesn't last us too long. Not sure exactly what the status is on the last player. I don't think he's actually... Their stand-in is not at the actual Zephyr house, I believe. So I think that's part of the problem here, as far as him having internet problems, whereas the rest of the team do not. So, I don't know. Well, we'll hopefully be back underway fairly soon, guys. We've got a good game ahead of ourselves here, but the last game of tonight also will be Myth Trust versus Team Malaysia, so not our only game left for SEA. And then Europe also kicks off. We've got Europe actually kicking off in 19 minutes. Jeez. Na'Vi versus Power Rangers, and a lot of games for Europe tonight, well, for today, depending where you are. It's like 7 AM here. Holy shit, man. Lost track of time. But yeah, I think there's 7 best of ones for Europe. So definitely check out all the action there. Let me see, what's today? Today's the 28th. So yeah, Na'Vi versus Power Rangers, VP Polar Alliance, Na'Vi Empire Tinker, Na'Vi versus BBC, Tinker Cloud9, and Cloud9 versus BBC. So 7 BO1s there. Coddle Guy's got his work cut out for him, as far as the Europe schedule's concerned. And, yeah. That kicks off in like 15-20 minutes time, so head on over to there. Maybe this game will still be paused, and it looks like Tide's good to go. He's reconnected, and we're just waiting on Heen to, well, finish doing the business. Man, look, Qo even says hi and gives a shout to K Feeney. Like, what is this? Where's my hello, Qo? I'm salty. Thanks, Will. Well, looks like we're back in business. We got ourselves a Dota game. They may have violated numerous tournament rules during that pause with all chat, but hey, I haven't even read our tournament rules. Let's be real here. I don't know what our tournament rules are. No, jokes, guys. Don't go start a crusade on Reddit about me not knowing our tournament rules. MVP Phoenix, yeah, controlling that 2-minute rune. March is there and just poking around, not letting this Tide. Yeah, Tide probably wants to scout it out, especially if it's something like an invis rune and he could go gank and maybe get a kill on Slick's mid, so definitely worth scouting out, but nothing too much comes of it as, yeah, both teams with the defensive trial, and you probably don't see too many kills early this game unless there's some kind of rotation mid, and oh, look at this. Reason is gone for the sneaky little telekinesis up, loop around, and let's farm. Well, farm/deny XP. Tide is going to be strapped for, well, creeps to kill at this rate as he gets jumped on by Qo. Qo just using that essence shift to take a lot of stats, and if he gets another pounce off, that's a kill. Luckily, though, it's just a level 1 pounce. Now level 2. I think it was a level 1 cooldown there. As Rubik continues his pull through, finds some Centaurs as well. And yeah, he just killed basically 2 big camps. The Centaurs, I mean, it's at the medium camp, but it pretty much is the highest golden XP earning camp in the medium slot. So this is pretty handy stuff for a reason, and he can maybe do it again. Will he be back in time? I don't think so. Maybe he just has to wait for the 3:30 mark, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. So, yeah, smart little jungle Rubik player trick that not seen too often, and a lot of players aren't too familiar with. But Rubik going to continue on through, and he's trying to get this last melee creep. He's like, no, just wanted to deny it. Oh, that's sad. The DC first blood. Oh dear. March feels bad. I feel bad. But I don't know. It's unfortunate. Like, sometimes you can't quite tell if a player's there or not when they DC, and he hadn't actually DC'd yet, so it's not really anything in bad manners. Sounds like he was moving. That's unfortunate, as Tide, well, having some more internet problems as MVP pick up the first blood. And you got to take what you can get, and there's... If he hadn't disconnected... It's not like he's disconnected and you unpause and go for the kill like in a pub game. As long as he hasn't connected, you still go all out there. But we're getting ourselves another pause. I actually don't remember driving Blitz to the airport. I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know if I have a bad memory or what, but... yeah. I think... Oh, no. Okay, no, that was when they... Okay, yeah, actually, I know what he's talking about now. Apparently I'm a nice guy sometimes. But, yeah. Poor Tide is, once again, gone kaput. As MVP get off to a good start here. And, Legion's doing pretty well top. Level 3.5. Similar story with the Tide, who's level 3. Does give up the first blood, which is a bit costly. I mean, you often see those early kills on offlanes, especially this, like, back in the tri-lane days. Like, we're seeing less offlaners give up first blood because teams are running more dual lanes. But with the tri-lanes versus the solo offlanes, you have to play this offlane so well, and at the same time, if you play too defensively, you don't get enough experience. So you've really got to kind of push that limit between getting experience and putting yourself in harm's way. So, well, hopefully we'll get ourselves back underway in just a second here. Zephyr continuing to have some problems, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate, because they've, I mean, as I said earlier, they've had their share of roster problems. They haven't done too well in the Summit so far, with 5 losses and their only win being a match they didn't actually have to play. So this is a team that's looking to rebuild and make that foundation of which they can build upon for a healthy future, perhaps, with this roster. But as it's this continued stand-in problem, Slicks has been with them for some time, maybe a possible new permanent addition. I'm not sure about 1973. Well, I haven't seen him in their recent matches, but if he has these kind of internet problems, well, that's a problem. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens now. Yeah, March is wondering where he's not at the Zephyr house, I guess. Okay, so he's in Singapore. Singaporean player, I guess. He's back. Kyo's excited. That's good to see. Let's get things back underway. So Tide doesn't have money for a TP, unfortunately. He may get pulled one, but the creep wave's so pushed out, he may as well just walk back to the lane. I don't think it's even worth TPing down there, as Slicks has his bottle back. He's doing some bottle crowing, I believe. Yeah, waiting on his boots money, and there we go. Gets his boots money. Tide is gonna do the walk of shame back towards that bottom lane. You give first blood, you got to do the walk of shame. There's no TPing back to lane. And MVP having, well, more or less won the safe lane, and Slack doesn't really need too much help now. He's level 4. He'd rather get the solo XP to accelerate, like, his snowball. He kind of needs, I mean, he's getting the farm whether he's solo or has the support. Maybe slightly less farm if he's solo versus Tide, but we'll see this smoke gank come in mid lane. Slicks maybe in some trouble here. Has the combo, the Fire Blast into Ignite, the pull back, and can pull him away from his tower. March, so tanky. That's 7 armor, and 700 HP just means he can take the tower hits for days. If that's Rubik taking those tower hits, Rubik's dead. Not only do you take about 500 damage, and that's Rubik's health more or less, but Rubik has 1 armor to the Ogre's 7. Ogre, one of the best tower divers out there, as we see another kill going the way of MVP. Not much Slicks can do about that one. Q at bottom now finds himself up against that Tide. He actually finds a DD rune, so Tide should be able to at least farm up towards his Tranquils. Should get a couple CS off of this DD rune, considering he's just up against a solo Slack, and there's a big creep wave pushing his way. So the tides will turn for him in more ways than one, as QO. I mean, try and pressure under the tower. Up to 1500 gold. This could be a Midas rush from QO. Not the biggest fan of the Midas Slack, but it's, I think in a game like this when you've got such good free farm and can get it like 6 minutes in, the Midas is just fine. For it at top, 900 gold already, so normally you see the bottle on Legion. You can also go for the Soul Ring depending on how you want to play this. To help you spam the overwhelming odds, and then you get the heal coming in from pressing attack. So Soul Ring definitely a build I kind of was always going for myself, and it feels like a really good kind of pub build, but the bottle seems like the more reliable option, at least, especially for competitive, where you want to be, as an offlane, you want to be trying to camp the rune every 2 minutes and just try and help out elsewhere. So I think the bottle's the at least slightly more used option for competitive play. We'll see Blitz walking in both the 2 supports, and I don't think he's really got a way out. He will get the 2 hero stuns. Slicks is looking for the kill on Reason. And, well, Reason will probably go down to 1 more Crypt Storm here. Yep, he goes down, but is there going to be a counter kill? March needs a Fire Blast. He's out of range. He has got Ignite in a couple of seconds, and he instills a lot of damage, but without the stun, they're not going to get that kill on Slicks. So Slicks will make his way home and TP back to lane, it looks like, and pick up maybe a Magic Wand, but if he picks up the wand, it's going to slow down his Phase Boots, which is pretty important to be picking up ASAP. Tide's had this empty lane against the Slack. Not empty with the Slack there, but no supports to punish him out of lane, although they've just shown back up, and QO may be looking for this kill. Starts the damage, gets the Essence Shift, starting to steal those stats from this Tide Hunter, and Rubik is nearby. The TP from the Tide... Oh, he's got haste, actually. Whew. Not a time to be going on him. QO takes hefty damage there and doesn't have much regen here because of the Midas Rush. As Raisin continues zoning him out. Meanwhile, mid lane, they have gone in here. The fissure onto March. Cold Feet proc does land, and they can't actually get this kill. Aosin doesn't have the Chilling Touch damage. March going to turn around and fight. Forov in the vicinity as well does not have duel just yet, but March with a Fire Blast, thinking about going on Aeson. There's your overwhelming odds. March, look at the attack speed. Let's go. Whack, whack, whack. Bring him down. Not going to happen. We need one more right click. Forever's chasing without the boots. Aosin will take a fall. And Razor kills off the Tide in the meanwhile. That was, well, in the trees near the mid lane. And uh-oh. Blots Dota. He's hiding. He's hoping he hasn't been seen. Mercy. Kill secure for Rev. What a player. He's actually going for a Blink Rush. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this build, but I don't... You're going to get such a fast Blink. It's probably alright, but I feel like you want to have some kind of mana regen, either from the Soul Ring or the bottle. Like, he moved from top to mid. He could have been checking the rune at 6 at 8 minutes. Like, a rune's about to come up, so he could be getting that rune. It looks like Razor's bottle crowing, but yeah, I feel you may as well get a bottle, even if it slows down your Blink Dagger a bit. It's not like they desperately need this 8-9 minute Blink Dagger. But, hey, you can get it nice and fast. And then probably just look to kill Slicks over and over again. I think he's kind of one of the big problem heroes. Sure, Naga's free farming. We'll get an okay time Radiance here, but kill Slicks a few times and then worry about that Naga Siren. And drop down the lane ward, so everything's going to come... This is a Naga Siren-centric game. Like, you pick a Death Prophet, you normally wouldn't say... I mean, the game often builds around the Death Prophet being one of the main carries, but this game very much not the case. And Slack's going to come online soon, I feel like. Get some treads, get a Blink Dagger, and then he can even start rotating top to maybe try and handle this Naga Siren, who may have a Relic by then, but probably not the completed Radiance. Even once the Radiance is up, you need another item or two before you can do huge things on the hero. As we'll see Forev, one more creep, not quite up to the Blink Dagger. About 1 CS away. March headed up top as well, maybe looking to time his arrival at top lane with the Blink Dagger, but he will be spotted by a lane Observer Ward, so... Not going to have quite the impact he would hope to at this top lane. And Forev's Blink Dagger should get scattered out pretty quickly as, yeah, he's in range of that Observer Ward vision, so... He gets spotted going to the jungle, and if they clicked him during that time, they would have seen the Blink Dagger. Could still make something happen off of this, though. Corey's going to be careful. He's got the song, so I've got to imagine they're going to go on Corey, because if you go on anyone else, you can just song and keep him alive, although it is a 3-minute cooldown you've got to use. The Cold Feet won't latch immediately. Earthshaker just left this lane. Earthshaker really needed to stay there, and they're going to go in. Overwhelming odds. Dual Cold Feet's going to be maybe too late. The Ignite Fire Blast. Here comes your first TP. It is the Earthshaker, and he just loses it. Not even the Earthshaker, not even needed. That Naga damage, combined with the Chilling Touch, March going to go down as well. Looks like Rubik actually snuck behind the tower to kill the Naga Siren. Reason pulling up some big plays. Gets a solo kill, and solo kills on supports are huge, because suddenly he's level 7. I don't think he even had ulti before that. I think it was level 5 and he just got like a level and a half of experience. Not to mention the money he just got coming in. He's got Arcane Boots now. That's a huge solo kill. So I would say it's a kind of even trade. Even though MVP lost 2 for 1, they killed the Naga Siren, and Rubik getting that is actually not too bad of an outcome with the way the solo kill Golden XP works. So, yeah. Slark back into his own jungle, and he's going well on his merry way. Can Midas up one of these big creeps, and has hit level 9. So this Slark really starts to peak around that level 10. You get Max Dark Pack, Pounce, point in the Essence Shift, and you can do some serious damage in a very short amount of time. And this is the other problem we saw top lane. This Legion just doesn't have that value point and moment of courage. Normally you see a 3-1-1 build out of Legions. And the follow-up damage from Ogre just wasn't very impressive. They're going to go in on Corey again. There is a Fissure there. He's going to use it fast. Can he bring him down? Yes, he can. They chase. They want Aosin. They also want Blitz, maybe. Ignites the AA. Gets the Fire Blast on the Blitz. Trying to go for 2 here. Aosin's a sure kill. Can they keep up and catch up to Blitz? It looks like with the Fire Blast cooldown, that's not going to happen. They'll maybe settle for the Tier 1 tower instead, although Hero's respawning in fairly timely manner this early into the game, so maybe Zephyr going to consider some kind of retaliation, but it Slicks at mid lane. The retaliation may just come in the form of a counter push with Exorcism available. That's a very long 145 cooldown. What's happening to Blitz here? No duel available, as he does get pressured away from this top lane. TP's coming in now into the Tier 2. That's your Naga Siren. TP and use the Mirror Illusion with the Fountain regen still there, so he's still more or less got full mana, but Razor is there to maybe deal with some of these illusions. as they just actually scurry past. They're going to look to clear maybe some of the creeps behind where the tower is and defend this tier 1. As Glyph also comes out. That's maybe bottom lane. Oh, Aosin! Oh, misses the deny. Kua was going for the tower there with his Shadow Dance, it looks like. Ancient Apparition just could not get the kill or the tower deny. Big loss there for Zephyr as Kua gets away. Doesn't have the tower denied, and MVP are just controlling the enemy side of the map right now. Taking their neutrals, getting wards up. Applying a lot of pressure here. Blitz to the mid lane's just hugging trees and trying to hide and do his best to stay hidden, but I don't know how well that's going to work. Slick finds a haste rune. This is the dream rune for Death Prophet in the early game, especially before you get those big movement speed items up there. The Yule Scepter and the Max Witchcraft, which has only got 2 points, and marches on the front lines here. Look for the Exorcism haste rune. And if MVP see this haste rune, I think they may just have to back off. It's such a high-risk rune to fight into. You can still look to burst down Death Prophet with a Blink Jewel or like the Fire Blast. But if you don't do that, and if there's a Fissure or Ravage counter initiation, you're in all sorts of trouble. Back to the lanes they go. So 4 of heads up top, just with the Naked Blink. Still no value point in Moment of Courage. That extra few right clicks when you go for jewels is often nice. It does give you some extra damage there, but opting for the more heal and attack speed build. As Q at bottom has 3k, and that's probably Shadow Blade. Coming up soon. He'll go back to the jungle. He's very low in mana, so he'll probably just try and farm the Shadow Blade gold. Then, probably Shadow Blade plus... Oh, he's got the TP, so farm the Shadow Blade and then head his way back to Fountain to recoup his mana. As he finds just the lone baby centaur that's been left an orphan in his little camp there. Yeah, so Kua will lay claim to these, and there we go. Picks up the Shadow Amulet. Just needs another couple hundred gold, which he can get from this camp here, as well as his Midas available, so he'll have more than enough with the help of this. And top lane MVP say, look, we don't need Slack, although Slack can actually be here pretty soon. That's the other thing. Slack's probably telling his team, like, look, guys, I bought my Shadow Blade. I'm going to TP up there. If fight's going to look like it's going to break out, just hold out, play defensive for the next 15, 20 seconds. Here comes Slicks. The haste rune is being used, but problem is that means it's going to expire, possibly. Link backwards will dodge the Ice Blast and actually TP out. Reason also going to make his way out of there, so here comes Slack. This Shadow Blade will be maybe spotted by the Observer Ward unless Zephyr maybe... Okay, there's a ping coming out. I think they know what's happening. Tower was denied, though. Uh-oh. This could be bad. Blitz looks to be the target here. The Pounce Dark Pact. Blitz is just mince meat to the Slack. He was full HP, and one Shadow Blade hit, Dark Pact and Pounce killed him from full HP. This is the power of Slack now. He is just going to wreak havoc across the map now with his current items. And, well, towers will fall. Heroes will fall. Zephyr have got to find some kind of a team fight using this Ravage and Exorcism. We haven't seen the Exorcism at all yet. Surprise Slicks didn't try to defend either mid or top earlier, and he's going to get stunned up. He gets hit by the Pounce. The Ravage is going to maybe come here. Self-heals. We'll delay this. Where's that Ravage? 1973, man. They decide they don't want to fight. I guess Slicks was too low, so they're going to back off anyway, so saving the Ravages means they could have it for the next team fight. The other option there was to go for the Ravage and have Slicks turn around with the Exorcism, but I guess Slicks was way too... He goes for the Ravage there instead, although he actually... Luckily, he doesn't get it off, because that would not have been a good Ravage. Where's the Radiance Fund? And it's still too far away, it feels like. Safely Naga Siren, and with the way this game's going, he really needs that Radiance, sooner rather than later. And this... It's coming at an okay time, but it's just, not fast enough, maybe. Back to the side shop, we'll TP home, completely out of HP mana. Normally you see some kind of mana regen. That's the other thing. I mean, I talked about the Legion normally going for a bottle. Naga Siren, I think, needs to go bottle as well. You don't have to upgrade your Bassi into Aquila, but you run out of mana, and even if you're kind of semi-jungle, you take damage, and you kind of need that HP mana regen. I think it's a very cost-effective item for Naga Siren to be getting the bottle. But just small things that you normally see from the Naga Siren players, which... Corey decides not to do here, though. Really just trying to get it up as fast as possible, but sometimes getting a bottle actually means you get the faster Radiance, even though you've got to spend money. Just a stepping stone item, as we'll see. Before we've gone to the jungle here, we'll be walking to Aosin in just a second. There's your Jewel. Gimme some damage, says Forever. This Jewel he will be winning his second of the game, and, well, we're not done. Slicks will actually dodge whoa! Dark Pact off the Yules. He managed to dodge the Pounce, luckily. Kuo taking a bit of damage here. Does have the Shadow Dance, as he gets brought down to 57 HP. MVP don't seem too phased by this. They've still got just Razor, solid push in the bot lane. Slack will just heal himself up naturally if he wants. He's farming on 40 HP. Jesus, man, that takes some balls. I guess there's no like long range. I guess he has got to be worried about a fissure. That's about it. He also, oh well, he's got to be worried about an ice blast. But Slack now moving around the map. He can find where wards are based on that ultimate passive. And Qo might just back up in a second. He's just going to be transitioning from item to item so damn fast. And talked about the level 10 being big for him. Level 14 is also pretty huge. Suddenly he has a 2-minute duration on Essence Shift. So he gets a kill with a Shadowblade initiation, steals some stats, and that'll last you 2 minutes. That's very, very annoying to deal with. Smoke down from Zephyr. They're looking to use this Naga Siren as bait, but I don't think it's going to work. MVP just aren't anywhere nearby. They're pushing top. They're doing other things. It could just be instead maybe a tier 1 tower push, but a tier 1 tower at this point, MVP don't really care about that. They may be tempted to defend it, which could lead to a risky situation, but MVP have such good map control. They have perfect vision mid lane, in the enemy jungle, around the top river, so they have a pretty perfect idea of exactly where Zephyr are. That's like, okay, you're not top, you're not mid, you've got to be bottom, probably seen behind this Naga Siren. This bait's not working. This is just so obvious, as Radiant Wall gets put down on top of a sentry. That's unfortunate, but Corey, the fact he's actually on the tier 1 tower is a dead giveaway, and I think MVP can just give up a tier 1 tower. It's not a huge chunk of gold. It is Corey's Radiance. I guess he's already got the Radiance, but it does sort of get him towards his Boots of Travel or his next item. I love these like 10 HP tower glyphs, because it just means they're more likely to mess up the last hit, although Corey does time that one perfectly. I think it's the best way to use the free glyph you get on tier 1 towers is to try and make your opponents miss the last hit, because you get a good chunk of extra gold for those last hits. QO. It's brought down pretty low. It's a nice Ice Blast, and this tier 2 tower has been kept alive by Zephyr, as MVP just, they're not really willing to group up as 5, and the fact that Heen's gone for this BKB of Accept, I think BKB probably the better item here, but does mean he doesn't actually have that pushing power that the Acceptor gives you. And here's another glyph. This one on a tier 2 though, so this glyph will not be refreshing. Yule's onto the Slack to try and mess up the last hit, but it gets taken by the Razor instead. And Corey TP's home, and he's done farming this bottom lane. I said the mana without, there we go. I don't know if he just bought, I think he just bought this bottle. He really needed the mana regen for it. Like, he was at bottom lane and suddenly he's like, well, I'm not low on HP, but I'm out of mana, so I can't actually keep farming without my illusions. So he's better off TPing home, getting the illusions out, sending them all across his own jungle, and you'll farm faster. That's where the even a 19-minute bottle was worth it for him, although normally you see it before the Radiance, and I think maybe he's just suddenly realized, like, oh crap, why didn't I bottle this game? It's still worth getting one. And clear up these Naga illusions, QO. Taking a bit of damage here, and he's going to be careful. Crypt Swarm plus Ice Blast could be his demise, but he goes in the Shadowblade form, which is going to mean he's healing up while invis, and we'll actually put him on the edge here. He's good. Legion's actually used to heal up on a QO Slack. March is going to work on his Accept now. Has the point booster already. It's just so much farm all across the board on this MVP side. Top 2 farmers are there. They've got good farm in their off lane. And the 2 supports, Rubik, he's got a Blink Dagger. Reason's doing great. And Zephyr just kind of pinned back right now. They've got the Tide Blink, but we have not seen Ravage come into play. 0, 3, and 0 on this Tide. Has had some lag problems and not the easiest to play, as he did give up that early first blood as well when he seemed to have disconnected. QO still fishing in the enemy side of the map in their jungle, and he's kind of alone. He's got the support of Legion, but 3 of their teammates of MVP are at bottom lane getting a tier 2 here, but I think they're going to get the tier 2 and then look to TP top, take a fight and try to defend this. Forever will be blinking into a lot of heroes here. It goes in on Corey. There's a Rabbit to follow this one up. Q does Dark Pact off, but look how low he gets. He gets brought down by the slam of the Earthshaker. Heen showing up a bit too late with the BKB. Corey brought down there. The Plasma Field was enough. I think he was actually in the sleep there, and Slicks will actually get a 3rd kill. So 3 kills all on core hero. Zephyr in a big team fight at top lane. Does come at the cost of some casualties, but we finally see the ultis come into play. Oh, multicast on Blitz. He gets annihilated. But the Ravage, the Exorcism, you fight around these ultis and you find yourself some good stuff there. It goes to show that Slark is still very squishy if he gets hit by these kind of stuns and the lockdown. The Ravage, the Fissure, the Echo Slam. Combine these together with an Ice Blast and you're gravy. Similar with the Legion there. That was some... I don't know... Like, Legion blinked past the heroes to duel the Naga Siren. I guess they thought Naga was alone, but there was like 3-4 heroes right behind the Naga while Naga chipped away at the tower. That was... I guess you want to prevent the sleep, but going on that Naga, which was... It seemed maybe like a bait. I guess maybe not. Obviously, a lot easier for me to say it's a bait than for the players to realize that when I've got perfect vision, but none of the other Zephyr heroes were showing. See, Slicks pick up the Atos, so doesn't really need... He probably needs a BKB eventually this game against the Ogre, but feeling he doesn't have to go for it right off the bat. Gives a nice little slow as well as a bit of extra HP from the VIP booster. And he's just going to chip away at 4 up here. Nice blast. Oh, if that hit, maybe could have got the kill. Oh, it's off the mark. That's painful stuff. That's the kind of kill that can get Zephyr back in the game. Not one of them, but if you just keep on finding pickoffs time and time again, slow down the MVP push. And when you're behind, as Zephyr are, those kills really... That rubber band effect starts to kick in, so... They would have liked to have landed that Ice Blast. Aosin just slightly off the mark. As Slicks did go for their initiation. MVP now smoked up near this mid lane, and Naga's still doing her thing, pushing these lanes, has the Radiance Illusions way up top, up near that tier 2 tower, and MVP at some point are going to have to try to look to break through the high ground, and that's not something easy to do. We can see little drawings on the map. Rubik's just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're inside this little bubble. They're inside their base. That's all I know. Ravage back up for the Tide as well as Exism, so last time Zephyr had some luck with these ultis. Something MVP will be well aware of as these next few fights will be coming soon. And when the Slark Legion died right off the bat, they did not have the damage to kill the Death Prophet. That was the big thing there. Razor was like, oh, I'm alive, I've got BKB, they can't kill me. And it's like, oh wait, Death Prophet, Exism, that shit hurts. So... For MVP, they do slow things down here. Looking to finish off their next few core items, probably the Ags on the Razor. Even the Ags on Ogre, he's 1,700 away from it. A Death Prophet without BKB suddenly is a pretty juicy target. No items to follow, so probably see the BKB next, I would say. Rubik working on an Ag Scepter, they were all about the Ags, and well, another probably bigger item than some of those mentioned, like the Rubik Ags is going to be the Legion BKB, which is now purchased back at base, although currently in use. Six has found the Rubik here. Rubik in a completely isolated position, cannot blink out, and Tide's ready to back this one up with a Ravage, so they're going to have to just leave Reason to die here. They've got the sleep. Fine march, and I don't know if MVP want to take this fight. They also see Heen as well, and Tide leans towards him with the Razor BKB. I don't know about this one. Exism may need to be used here if they want to try and fight Heen. Slicks decides against it. Chases on. Heen is just going to start right-clicking hard. He's stolen a decent chunk of damage here. Eventually, Heen does back off now. 112 bonus damage, and... Oh, QO. He says, I can do this one. Picks up one. Second kill going his way as well. 1973 does have the Ravage, but I don't know about using that just onto this Slark. I don't think they can kill him. They're too low. They're on full retreat mode. The X isn't just unwilling to be used by Slicks. I think he made a mistake holding onto it there. Should he used it on the BKB Razor, maybe? He's got the movement speed from the Phase Yules to kind of keep up. And once BKB's over, you pop the Atos and you can maybe bring down Razor, but... QO just showed up and wiped everyone out. He is so farm right now with this Skadi. May go for the BKB against the Tide Ravage, but he may just be thinking, let's go more damage, more stats, and just tank up in other ways rather than get the magic immunity. So despite a bit of a sloppy pickoff here or there, like the Rubik getting caught out completely alone and the sleep setup, things go just fine for MVP Phoenix in that little clash. They're still ahead, 70 kills to 8. QO's hunting, he sees Corey and there's no sleep here. Gets the Shadow Blade bonus damage, gets the Dark Pact and everything, and the burst damage is there. Reason doesn't have a spell stolen right now. Maybe gonna look to take something from Slicks here as QO. A bit of a tough spot here. Shadow Dancer's looking to get his way out of there. The Ice Blast effect does hit him, but not the Ice Blast damage, and Blitz without a fissure. No, the double ignite, cancelling any sort of a Blink Dagger from the Tide. Blink actually up soon on Blitz as well. As he's just going to maybe make his way back to base and wait for the gold overtime to kick in to get him up to that 2250 mark. Roshan for MVP though. Put this onto Qo, I imagine, just so he can be really ballsy with his plays and not have to worry. Definitely doesn't need a BKB with the Aegis in hand. You're probably not killing him twice, maybe once, but that's a tough ask. And yeah, he drops his magic stick, so we'll be picking up the Aegis here. And with this, MVP Phoenix can get really aggressive. Talked about slowing the game down for a bit, but now with the Skadi, the Aegis, that can end. They've got Ag Scepter on the Razor, BKB on the Legion, items galore. It's just the Ag Scepter for Ogre seems to be one of the kind of key items missing, maybe. But not an item that's going to be decisive as to whether they can push or not. I just don't think the Naga's in a position to carry this game. Like, even if you can farm the Manta and you can stall the push, the late game of MVP is still scary. And this is not a game that Nagasarn can easily win. You're too reliant around these long cooldown ultimates. And a Death Prophet who's farmed, but maybe not farmed enough. Six has gone for an Ultimate Orb, so maybe thinking Lincoln Sphere against the Blink Jewel. Maybe thinking just a Scythe of Ice to help with the lockdown against pesky heroes like Slark Razor, who keeps BKBing in these fights. You can Hex him first, but I don't think Hex is going to really do all too much. I think more likely we see the Lincoln Sphere. Surprise, he's unwilling to go for a BKB. I guess there's a lot that goes through it. The DPS of Razor, Slark, Legion. It's just the... You'd be getting it almost like primarily for the Ogre Magi, but Ogre's damage, once he gets his Ag Scepter, is going to really start to add up. And they're slowly chipping at this high ground here. Heen, a bit low on HP, unfortunately. Maybe... where's his bottle gone? Has he actually sold that? Yeah, it looks like he no longer actually has his bottle anymore. And there's a Rune will spawn, Bounty Rune at bottom lane, and MVP just... At this point, they're just so much more efficient than their opponents because they're farming the Radiant... Well, they're not farming the Radiant jungle. They're farming the Dire jungle while Zephyr is stuck in their base. They're farming all three lanes, as we can see. And Zephyr, well, they're kind of they farm lanes when they reach their base. So MVP just have access to so much more farm on the map, and that's without even farming their own jungle. They just don't want to spread their resources too much, which prevents them from farming both jungles. Like, if you start sending heroes to your own jungle, suddenly you've got too many heroes solo who can actually just get picked off by, like, a Death Prophet with an Atos, the Ice Blast, the Fissures, the Blink initiations from Tide, as well as Earthshaker now. So there is a Blink Echo Slam as available to both the two teams. Well, no, sorry, not to both the two teams, to the Zephyr team. What am I talking about? Talking gibberish. 1973 thinks he's got a good hiding spot. That plasma field was very close to scanning him out. Okay, looks like it didn't, as he blinks south, which was an interesting decision there. At the end of the day, he's just going to have to TP himself home, it looks like, as he keeps the pressure up towards bottom, and other people are pressuring the other lanes here. Something you can always do as a Razor to get free damage is static link those illusions. Like, if you know something is an illusion, rather than just killing it right away, or just ignoring it, you take the static link on it. And then you can kill it, and like with that bonus 100, 200 damage, go for that high ground siege, as we will see Razor mostly healed up with Ag Scepter available. Helm of the Dominator. An interesting choice. Maybe hoping for like an Alpha Wolf or something for some auras. What are you doing, Duo? He's got the Aegis, I guess, why the hell not? Forov goes in, he's got the Jewel under the Tide. Ravage will be available after this one. Forov's got BKB though, and they bring down the Tide to start things off. Forov will escape. For now, BKB expiring. Corey misses the Riptide. Actually, will get the kill anyways with the Radiance damage. And they're trying to bring down Qo here. Qo gets a second Shadow Dance. Pounce to the high ground. He's still alive. Has Shadow Blade in 2 seconds. I think he may even live this. Oh no, he gets stunned. Brought down, but meanwhile, it's the mid lane. Rax is under siege. Heen, well, gets a tier 3 tower. Won't be able to finish off the Rax as teammates fall, and looks like he decides that Zephyr maybe have the strength that they need to deter this push. So, ballsy play from Qo, deciding that it was time for him to make something happen with the Aegis. I think the Aegis was just about to expire. Actually, had about another minute left on it, but he also he picked up a Blink Dagger for the extra added initiation. As we'll see Heen playing around at this bottom lane. He's now got himself level 16, so the max ulti is there. Corey forced to TP himself out. There's another decent chunk of damage stolen for him, which just helps him regen up, because he kept getting kind of chipped away at by the Radiance illusions, and that kind of slowed down their push. When Razor's not full HP, this is a bit tricky to push onto the high ground when he's your front line, and the Helm of the Dominator with the lifesteal does help solve that problem and fix it some. Smoke now picked up on Ogre, and for MVP, maybe they break the mid lane, but probably have to see another Roshan before they can properly end this game, and it's looking like we're headed that direction. Zephyr have got the Naga Siren doing well, but it's it still feels like we're not seeing real pressure being applied by the Nagasara. Like the normal Nagasara games where you feel, okay, this team's, even though they're behind 5, 10k gold, they still got a chances. When you see Nagasara Illusions pressuring all the lanes and just whenever a push is coming, he's skipping behind the push to clear the creep waves and cut them off. So I just haven't really seen that. Not to say he's playing it badly. I think those opportunities just aren't really presenting themselves as much, and he has to play very cautiously against the Shadowblade Slark, the Ogre burst damage, a Blink Jewel that can kill him off. So there's so much stuff to deal with the Nagasara. Not to mention the Nagasara Illusions. You've got like stuff like Overwhelming Odds to quickly burst them down and make his life kind of miserable. Razor blinks in with a lift here, forces out a fissure, and counter initiation is there, but the Tide won't get a Ravage off. He gets focused down and brought down by the Jewel. Plus Razor. Razor's got the Ag Scepter up, and as a result we may see that high ground breach attempt top lane. It's Corey fighting out with Kyo. Insta TP, and Kyo without a Basher is not going to be able to cancel that one. May reconsider his item purchases. He's like, man, I need to go back for a Basher just so people don't TP away from me, but for now he's thinking BKB. Then probably we look towards the Midas being sold for an Abyssal Blade. As Kyo denies the top tower, and his teammates, well, found the kill on the Tide. They're not going to be able to break the high ground. They don't have Kyo with them. They did actually... Okay, no, there's Exorcism and Ravage available. Well, they did have to wait out for the Jewel now, as well as the Eye of the Storm, but both those ultis fairly low cooldowns, as Razor does now start working on his refresher. The map control is very much in MVP's favor too, with vision on the high ground. It's good general vision as well. They did have a ward up here over before. It either expired or got dewarded though. Zephyr forced to use some very unconventional wards as a result, although this one less so. Yeah. Zephyr managing, and without a gem on the MVP side. Oh no, there is. The MVP bought one. They haven't. There we go. Should spot this out. Yeah. Raisin maybe trying to hide his gem. I'm not sure if it's been spotted by Zephyr. He will poke out now, so not something that's really a game breaker. Zephyr don't have actual invis here. It's purely for dewarding is the gem right now. Naga's fat is up there as far as farm goes. Only a couple thousand behind the Slark, but this push that's coming right now is going to be hard to deal with. Slark with a BKB and Razor with the Ag Scepter doesn't really need the refresher for the high ground siege necessarily, and we'll see Naga pick up the Diffusal, so more items coming their way. Main problem is if Naga dies, it's all over. There's no buyback. Kyo blinks forward, looks for the pounce, wants Blitz, and may get Blitz. Pop BKB has Shadow Dance as well as Shadow Blade, and Blitz is getting... the body blocks are real. Kyo will get the kill regardless. That's a BKB being used, but without buyback money, Blitz cannot do much to help out his team right now. He can't come back into the fray, and Kyo kind of trapped in the trees on the north side. Exorcism was used by Slicks, who's poking and prodding around as well. The range racks was the main loss there, so Kill and Blitz are range racks, and all they really used was a Slark BKB. Razor still has his BKB, and oh, Kyo, blink. Has a pounce. Dark Pack gets rid of the Atos and has a Shadow Blade, so he'll be just fine. They can just wait for this Eye of the Storm. There's going to be no Exorcism now. There is a Ravage, but without Exorcism, the damage for Zephyr is very unimpressive, and the problem is this Razor ultimate has such a short cooldown, and this is where Death Prophet's kind of fallen off. It's ridiculously long cooldown on your ultimate. You don't have the same amount of time online that a hero like a Razor does, and there we go. Razor pops the ulti, gets bloodlusted, and bring down the illusions first, and then get to work on this Rax. Does need to be a bit careful. The heal is there, the BKB also available. He forced to pop it, but just for a fissure. And Slark is kind of not really even at the party here. Kyo's been like often off on his own little solo missions throughout this game. Not really synced up with his team, but finding kills nonetheless. And not to say he's definitely had a high impact on this game just through these kills. As he tries to bring down the melee racks on his own. Says, look, Razor Man, you can't do it. I will try, but I will also fail. 35 minutes in, MVP. Getting work done on this high ground base of Zephyrs. They're unable to fully break it. They've got the refresher for Razor soon, but Razor constantly mana deplete. Diffusal illusions coming in from Nagasara and a Pesky, among other things, and Kyo finds another possible opening. Can he get the racks this time? Lift is available. Kyo gets off the silence, has BKB, also has Shadow Dance. Then Shadow Blade, numerous options to try and survive, and they're just going for the split push, it looks like. Razor kind of was pushing the top lane, although he low enough that he's like, okay, I can't really push anymore. I haven't even got mana for the Eye of the Storm. And Slark once again going for this melee Rax. He's so persistent about this. May have to BKB. Yes, he does. Rax gets glyphed, but Kyo can kind of wait out this glyph and go for the kill. They're going to try focus him down. He Shadow Dances. Cure gets the racks. There we go. Mission accomplished. Gets purged up. Gets the heal coming in from the Legion. Gets dusted as well. He will be brought down. Tried getting the last hit from the Gush, and with the help of the Ice Blast, I believe, is March now on full retreat. But the melee racks was taken. Razor gets the refresher now, and you got to imagine next objective for MVP is going to be Roshan, and then they go for another set of Raxes, and that could be the killing blow. So Zephyr have got to keep that in mind and be like, okay, this is what MVP want to do. Take Rosh, go high ground, win game. How do we deal with that? And a lot of it's going to come from Naga Siren. Skipping creep waves, constantly scanning out that Roshan, trying to go for maybe a Roshan steal using the Song of the Siren, and even contesting Roshan with Ravage Exorcism. Definitely the possibility of contesting Roshan is there. For the time being, while heroes are dead, while Slark's dead, it's let's get map control. Let's take down towers and try and put MVP, even someone on the back foot here. March just walks into 3 heroes. I don't know about that one. Luckily, Forov's here maybe to help him out a little bit here. March, check the first stun or 2. Here comes your Exorcism into play here. He's going to have to just go on the run. He's BKB'd, he's got the Eye of the Storm, but I don't think he wants to find the Exorcism. Slicks is maybe low enough they can consider. But with Ogre dying, without the follow-up burst damage that he provides in the stuns and lockdown, it's a decision. Decision is that he's not going to try and continue to fight and take them on. Forov's in the Roshan pit signaling this is what we want to do. He's working on an Assault Crest with this plate mail, and Reason's actually got Ags. What Ags upgrades are we looking at? Nothing that... The Ice Blast is the best one, but Sealing Ice Blast, that's a long shot. I guess Earthshaker Echo Slam is maybe feasible to steal, because he's got to blink in and use it, and then there's that small window before he fissures or totems, if you're in the right position. And they are going for Roshan. They know Exorcism is on cooldown, so... This is... Oh, they've got 4 of them on the high ground. He can still get caught by the Ravage here. So one thing he's going to be a bit careful of. Ice Vortex will scat him out, but MVP not afraid. They actually... Oh, that's it. I was just saying Exorcism cool. I'm like, wait, Exorcism? What? Oh, Raisin. You've got Exorcism. They're going for the Ravage. They want the Aegis Steel. Slark picks it up with the BKB. Dodges the Ravage, and he's going to bring down 1973. Tide is taking a spill. Corey could not use the Song of the Siren, unfortunately, to get the Aegis Steel, and this is looking really bad for Zephyr. Corey's been caught out, of all things. Does have buyback, and he's going to be forced to use it, I believe, with a high ground siege imminent. May as well use it sooner rather than later and try and just keep these lanes as pushed out as possible. And they're actually saying, let's go through mid. Let's not worry about our side lanes pushing out. Let's just try and force the buyback as soon as possible and just use the fact we've got enough farm and tanky heroes to break through. As Raze actually disconnects. So that'll just maybe delay things a little bit here. But time running out for Zephyr, it really feels like. Just a reminder, guys, there is one more game coming down after this for SEA action in the Summit 2 by G2A.com. We've got Team Malaysia versus Myth Trust. And I'm just going to let the teams know we'll be hosting that right when this game ends. And yeah, we'll have that game going on. We'll also have Europe, which is already kicked off. So check out all the Europe action, which is over on Beyond the Summit 2. Being cast by Coddle Guys, so lots of Summit action coming your way. Na'Vi versus Power Rangers is currently live, so twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit 2. And yeah, a lot of good Dota 2 action coming your way, guys, if you're interested. But as things stand, it really feels like Zephyr maybe not long for this game. Looks like they're ready to go. The call is made, and I don't think the defending high ground's going to be too easy for them. Got to buy back the Naga Siren. That's a no-brainer. He will have Song of the Siren pretty soon, so we'll be able to defend with that. Well, actually, maybe they don't have to buy back him. Slark says, I'm going top. I'm not sure why he's not going for the bushy. You got Naga dead, Naga Tide dead. Exorcism up in 10 seconds, I guess, is maybe one thing they're worried about, but he's going to have double ulti fairly soon, so double Eye of the Storm is some potent stuff, and the Ravage is on cooldown, so Slark, man, get with the program. You've got to be drinking this MVP Kool-Aid, which is all about sieging the high ground right now. And it looks like he will be on his way now. And he picks up a Basher, so more damage output for the Slark, who's now deposited his Midas. Actually sold his Midas. And he's got the refresher, or maybe he's waiting through the BKB, so he wants to double BKB rather than just using the refresher. Now that he's BKB, he can refresh again. Eye of the Storm number 2 coming into play, and he's got another BKB, good to go. You just, oh, it's so hard to fight into. The Hex is there before the BKB. He ain't going to be BKBing right after this one. Gets out of the cold feet. Kuo's gone in with the BKB of his own. He's got Aegis. They want to bring down Slicks maybe. Get rid of this Exorcism, take it out of the fight, and the Pounce will do the job with the dead Death Prophet without an Exorcism. This could be it for Zephyr. They buy back the Naga Siren, and here goes in Forev with a Jewel. He's kind of on his own here. The Fire Blast, though, Slicks is almost brought down. He actually does survive this one. Corey gets the Ogre Magi for Rev. Going to go down as well, but the rest MVP. They do stick to the Kool-Aid. They're with it, and they bring down the Raxes. So 4 Raxes down on the Zephyr side, and got to imagine it's just a matter of time. The Aegis is still there, so they can wait maybe for these heroes to respawn and just have another go. The Aegis still has a decent duration of like 2.5 minutes left, and Kyo's already headed top to start the push. Naga Siren is getting close to that 6-slotted Naga point, but it's too defensive of a Naga Siren. Like this hero, it's defensive in the sense that you don't take engagement, but you've got to be very aggressive and active with your illusions around the map. Split pushing, controlling, skipping waves, and just kind of controlling the game with them. Which does not really happen. We'll see Raisin again with this Exorcism. Oh man, he's going to burst down Eos, and he's looking for more maybe, but unfortunately he doesn't have the survivability needed for that. This Death Prophet. Who's the real Death Prophet's the question. Raisin's making an argument for himself as Kuo now getting to work at top lane. BKB down to 6 seconds, so he can maybe just do some solo damage on this if he wants to, and then use the BKB to escape if he feels like he's in danger. Well, for Zephyr, hoping that they can maybe stall out the Aegis and then take a good fight with the Ravage Exorcism, and Exorcism up in 30 seconds, so MVP, if they want to go pre-Exorcism, they've got to go fast, and that's exactly what they're doing down this mid and top lane right now. He's going to have the refresher not for another minute or so the Exorcism will come up first, which is important to note. As far as Zephyr's concerned, does give them a small little window once they do have the Exorcism, but they've got to fight with it. Tide will not have refresher as well, which is another big item, which could have maybe given them some small glimmer of hope. They go with a Hex on Kuo. Do they Ravage this? He gets the BKB off. I think if you're going to go for that kill with the Hex, I think you got to Ravage. It's an Aegis too, actually. Okay, never mind. You don't want to you don't want to Ravage for an Aegis. Take that back, and then we'll see the Song of the Siren being used. Tide is dead. Did not even get to use his Ravage. Kuo now going in. Gets the bash on the Slicks. He's doing a lot of burst damage here with the Abyssal Blade, and Slicks thrown up in the air by himself, and he's trying to just heal himself up as much as possible. Kuo in some trouble. Zephyr maybe doing it. The pounce to the low ground, and he's going to get himself out of there. Kuo coming up big, and the entire time this is going on, Heen is just like, guys, I got double ulti. Actually, no, I just need one ulti. I'm going to bring down your Raxes, and that's Mega Creep. Splits is going in for one last Echo Slam. Trying to get 4 he's not even going to do it. As MVP have done it. They've got the Mega Creeps. They secure themselves the best of 1 victory over Team Zephyr, who continue to get punched around in the Summit SEA division, unfortunately. They've yet to find themselves with a win against any actual team that's playing in the tournament. So unfortunate stuff for them. It does put us in a position where we've got 1 game left for today in the Summit 2 SEA. So Malaysia going to be taking on Myth Trust next. Both teams undefeated. Important match, especially for Myth Trust. Malaysia pretty much guaranteed a top 4 finish with their 8-0 record. Myth Trust, so they're only 4-0, so still quite a bit of matches coming their way, guys. So stick around, 1 more match coming up soon in the Summit 2 by G2A.com. I'm Gods from Beyond the Summit. If you want to follow me, support me, you can check my Twitter out at BTSGods, or my Facebook, which is also facebook.com/BTSGods. But we're going to have a quick break. Next game's scheduled to start right now, so I'm going to go have a drink of water and host that next game and get you guys more Dota 2 action. So see you soon.